Welcome to Sunday Politics on Trust Television, coming to you from Abuja, the nation's capital. I am Ali M. Ali, your host. Today we are discussing the ever-bubbling Kano political scene. Kano politicals recently buzzed. Senator Ibrahim Shekarau, currently representing Kano Central, defected from the New Nigerian People's Party to the NNPP, that is the New Nigerian People's Party, a party whose presidential candidate is Rabi Musa Kwankwaso, Shekarau's foremost political adversary at a time in the past. Watchers were surprised that the two-term governor of Kano State will team up with the equally two-term governor Kwankwaso to battle their former political ally, Abdullahi Umar Ganduje, current governor of Kano State. Well, after weeks of speculation of his defection to the PDP, following disagreement, well, quote unquote, with Kwankwaso, Shekarau's ship finally docked in the PDP dockyard, his former party. Now, since that defection in a colorful ceremony a couple of days ago, a lot of issues have risen. Joining me to discuss the issues is Dr. Shekarau'S, the media aide to Senator Ibrahim Shekarau. You're welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
Yes. We take a quick break, viewers, and when we come back, our guest, Dr. Sule, will discuss the matters arising from the defection of his principal. Stay tuned. Don't go away. Dr. Sule, Shekarau has defected so often that his critics say he has lost most of his supporters. How do you react to this?
Well, thank you very much. First and foremost, let me address the issue of defection before coming back to the issue of whether he has lost some of his lieutenants.
Yes.
Shekarau is a politician with a difference, honestly, because the mode of his politics is entirely different from the way we see our normal politician. This is someone who has his own philosophy. He has his own mode of administering issues and politics itself. And he has a Shura Consultative Assembly or committee. That is the guiding agency or forum that guides all his political moves. He never on his own take a decision without consultation with Shura. And this Shura is made up of representatives from all the 44 local governments in Kano State and some interest groups like Ulama, even the Kekena riders, the one we normally call Adede Tesaho. They all have representation. So, and wherever he goes, he is being guided by the Shura deliberations. Then, you may say that he has defected first from APC to PDP to NNPP.
He was a foundation member of the APC.
Of course, he was the chairman of the merger committee representing ANPP when the merger was. In fact, the secretariat of the merger was done it was in his house. He hosted the secretariat of the merger team. So, coming back to the issue, is he has his own personal philosophy. That is, he is expecting justice and fairly in whatever you intend to do with him. When he couldn't get that justice and fairly, he looks for another place where he thinks he can be admitted or he can get such gesture. And unfortunately, in most of the places that he left, he was not treated fairly. It's not that he is there just because of being there and he now left that place. No, he wants to be treated because he has governed the state. He was a civil servant. He was a minister. People have seen how he conducted himself. At least he has tried to be fair, to be just in the way he deals with people. So he wants the same thing as well to be applied to him while dealing with others. But unfortunately, when he goes to a particular place, he is being treated differently. So he now said, no, I can't stay here. I have to look for a place where I'll be treated fairly. And this is what happened recently.
Yes.
If
Let me just quickly interject here, because I can see the background. Maybe the question actually should have been rephrased, actually, asking you first the genesis of the, which we are explaining now, why he's been defected. He defected from the APC back to the PDP, and then finally from PDP back to the APC, and now to the MPP, and finally back to the APC.
Yeah.
Now, you're giving all this background because you know, to whom much is given, much is expected. He's given much in terms of balance, in terms of being fair to all. But in return, he got perhaps not a bad bargain, so to say. Now, but exactly now, the NNPP, we'll get to that, given what background you've given. A lot of people were even surprised that he actually teamed up with Rabiu Musa Konkoso. And because they are more than, I mean, given what you just sketched now, they are so unlikely, they are really strange bedfellows. But then this is politics. We've seen people, I mean, elements in the Second Republic who are less under the PDP, the MPN element, the PRP element, if you recall, in 1999. So a lot of people, but they say Konkoso, Shekarau, under the same umbrella. Well, not the same umbrella in this recent sense, but under the same team. What was the attraction? Some people say, yes, Konkoso actually invited Shekarau to join the NNPP in recognition of his strength in Kano. And that it was going to be more like a 50-50 kind of thing, or at least 60-40. Yeah. Is that assessment?
Yes. Well, you see, Shekarau has one philosophy. He has an open mind. He never considers someone whether an enemy or whatever. No. So when Konkoso came, because he came to his house twice, appealing to him to join NNPP. In one of the days, as he steps out, just an hour, Governor Ganduje came in to the house. And each one that is coming, they all came with their proposals.
Yeah.
Like when he came, and Shekarau has never asked for either appointment or seat or whatever to be given to him. No. If you come to him, he will say, okay, me, I don't normally request. I don't ask. You, what do you have for me? You understand? What is there for me? What are you ready to give, to concede to my own side?
This is news to some of us, really.
No, that's it.
Yes.
That's the truth.
The impression
honestly.
out there,
because
point,
even when we were moving to APC, Ganduje, there was no any agreement with Ganduje. He just said, I will give you the senatorial seat, give you some commissioners, some advisors. Said, thank you. No written agreement.
No demands.
Nothing. We don't.
No
Shekarau
demand, no conditions.
has never forwarded any demand. Has never. But anytime you come, he will ask you, what do you have for me or for my group? Whatever you said, like for instance, the recent one, when he came, he said, I'm ready to give you 35%. You know, Kano has 24 members of the House of Reps, 40 members of the State House of Assembly.
Absolutely.
He said, I'm ready to give you 35% of each. And when we formed government in Kano State, whatever number of commissioners we are going to appoint, I will give you 35% of it. Whatever
This was coming from who?
From Konkoso. Number of advisors we are going to appoint in our government, we will give you 35%. He said, fine, thank you. That's the offer he gave. You understand?
Konkoso made that offer.
Made that offer to
not Shekarau demanding that.
He has not asked for it. In fact, even the senatorial seat, he did not ask for it. He on his own brought out a form and handed over to him. So when he gave that, he said, thank God. He came back and briefed Shura Council that this is my agreement and this is my agreement with Konkoso. Fine and good. The defection ceremony was organized. Was accepted into the party with all the noise and what have you.
Yes.
And after that, just some few days after we came in, we saw names flying of candidates of NNPP for all the seats, all the House of Reps seats, handwritten on the social media. He now approached him. This is what you said to me, that you are going to give us so number. And we saw list on the social media of contestants on the platform of NNPP. And none of our member is carried along. I think only Kura Garumala, that was the name of the former Commissioner of Finance, Naala, was placed there. Otherwise, all others, none of Shekarau'S people was considered. So he now approached him. He said, no, sorry, we are going to look at that. We'll look at that, but I have so much problem now. I have so much demands now. That 35% may not be feasible. We may scale it down to 5%, from 35 to 5%. Typical of Shekarau', Sardauna, accepted even that 5%. We now said, okay, how do we work out 5% of 24 members, 5% of 40 members, 5% of members of the cabinet, when eventually government is formed in the state, at the state level? So he now said, okay, let's form a committee to work out the details of this thing. So 4 people from the side of Malam Shekarau', 4 people from the side of Konkoso's side, being headed by Abba Kabir, the gubernatorial candidate. So they sat and came up with the 5%. They mentioned 4 local governments, which should be replaced with people of Shekarau'S camp. And I think 5 members of the State Assembly. Well, they recommended to the 2 of them. And after that report was submitted to the 2 of them, they sat and agreed that, yes, this is okay. Then, there and then, in the presence of Sardauna, Konkoso put on a call to Abba Kabir, who is the chairman of the committee. Said, myself and Sardauna, and you are on speakerphone, myself and Sardauna, we have accepted this, your recommendation. So please go ahead and implement. And you know, we have less than 5 days, because then it's close to 12th August. You know, 12th August
was the deadline.
Is the deadline set by INEC. He said, go ahead and implement this. In the presence of Sardauna, he made this call. After 1 week, nothing was done.
Well, I'm afraid we just have to hold you there. We're going on a short break. When we get back, we continue with this conversation. Viewers, stay tuned. We're going on a break. Stay tuned. Don't go away. Welcome back. If you're just tuning in, you are watching Sunday Politics on Trust Television. And our guest today is Dr. Suleya Usule, Shekarau' media aide. We've been discussing some of the matters that arose and the reason why Shekarau', currently senator representing Kano Central, defected from the NNPP to the PDP. Before we went on break, Dr. Sule listed reasons leading to the defection. Dr. Sule, now, you were saying from 35% scale down to 5% representation, and finally the council, the advice for implementation before we went on break.
Yes. So
a week later, there was no implementation.
Even the 5% was not implemented up to the time when the INEC time deadline clicked in. So our group felt cheated and betrayed. Grumbling started within the camp. Then he now called for a meeting of Shura. He said, look, this is the reality. Apart from me, no any other person is given a ticket. With all the people we are coming into this party, even the one we left, APC, had offered us more than this. But simply because there are certain problems That's why we couldn't accept their own. Now said, okay, he threw all the issue before the Shura, the consultative forum, and said, discuss and take a position, whatever position. Meanwhile, others have been coming to him. Atiku Abubakar has been meeting with him. Kashim Shettima, the presidential running mate of APC, was in his house. Peter Obi was in his house. So all others are coming and making
overtures.
So forwarding their own.
Yes.
Whether if you will accept. So now Shura said, well, since this is what happened, we are not treated fairly. He actually breached our agreement. So the best thing is look elsewhere, where our interests will be catered for. So that's actually what happened.
Well, interesting background there, which has, in a way, exploded so many myths surrounding the defection of Shekarau from NNPP. One of which was that he was, with due respect to you, like Oliver Twist, he was asking for more and more, just like he asked for more and more in the APC, which was not accommodated. But you see, in the course of your rendition, there's this, I don't know how you reconcile the posture of the senator not demanding anything with his leadership of G7. G7, you remember G7 when they were in the APC, a group of 7 of them, he led them, including Senator Barao Jibrin, and they made certain demands. They took over the leadership of the party, and the government went to court, and they lost until at the appeal court. Now they made certain demands. I don't know how you reconcile these demands of G7 with Shekarau personal.
No, even that one is what brought about the G7 is complete alienation of certain key officials of the party. All the senators, the 3 senators, were not involved in party affairs in the state. When, party structure was formed at the state level, none of them was involved.
Yeah, so, this much was stated that they were sidelined.
They were completely sidelined.
They were not consulted.
Senators, in fact, even members of the House of Reps, we have 24 from Kano, most of them were not carried along. None of them was carried along. So the whole party structure revolves around 3 people: the governor, the party chairman, and the local government commissioner. So the issue was brought out by Kabiruga, Senator Kabiruga. He said, how do we continue to be like this? We are not involved in anything as far as Kano APC is concerned. Oga said, yes, if you think you are aggrieved, why not we sit down and discuss?
Yes.
That's how it started.
Yeah, that was
let's get a fair share. Let's discuss, meet the governor, table this issue before him. So Oga now said, okay, let's meet in my house. They met and kickstart what transformed to G7. They took a stand, went to the governor. See, this is what is happening. We are all out of the Kano politics. We are not being involved. Meetings are not being convened to discuss issues affecting the party at the state level. The governor is not meeting even senators or House of Reps members. So they table all these things. Well, though the governor agreed to
make amends.
To some extent, but nothing was done.
But the group started with Kabir Gaya.
Yeah.
At a point, Kabir Gaya parted ways with you.
Honestly, to tell you the truth, he engineered everything. He started the G7. But later...
But then if at the midway he parted ways with you, how did Shekarau react?
It's not parted ways to say, but he withdrew.
Well,
he withdrew technically. Yes. When, in the actual sense, he started it.
Yeah, he engineered it, but
you understand?
He withdrew.
Yeah, because he met Shekarau inside the Senate chambers. Your Excellency, how do we allow the governor to be running the party like this in the state? Then His Excellency said, if you felt disturbed about it, why not we meet? That's how it started. Because most of those involved are the ones that were completely sidelined in their respective local governments. How can a whole senator, you conducted an election in his own ward, yet he is not involved? Is not carried along. In his own ward, talk less of local government, talk less of the senatorial district.
Well,
like, for instance,
yes,
Shekarau'S ward,
yes.
even the chairman of the party in his ward, he was not allowed.
What a counter argument to that on the side of the government in Kano is that in the 2019 election, the places that the APC lost majorly was the home local government of Senator Ibrahim Shekarau, that he even lost in his ward, and that his political relevance has been eroded, and that's why there was this problem in his home local government and in some other places, including the sitting deputy governor as it is now. How do you react to that?
You see, elections, you are looking at it at the state level. Senator Shekarau has the highest votes. All the senators elected in Nigeria, his votes is the highest in Nigeria. Check the record from the INEC. You will
It's because it's the biggest senatorial district.
You will establish that.
Yes. No,
but
the
for the
gubernatorial,
for the gubernatorial, honestly, you know there was a problem in the state. The governor has lost control. The governor has lost the sympathy of the people, honestly.
Which, you mean the former governor, Shekarau?
No.
I mean, current governor?
The governor, the sitting governor has lost relevance as far as politics of APC. How did he get there? There was a rerun election.
Yeah, there was inconclusive.
How did the rerun election conducted? How was it conducted? But look at other elections. Look at other elections. What was the result of other elections? You understand? And you know, Kano senatorial district is the most populated.
Yes, the
once
biggest,
once you get Kano senatorial district, you got the governorship. And perhaps I suspect that's why even Konkoso give Shekarau the seat, because he needed the votes from Kano Central. Because he knew Sardauna is quite popular.
Yes.
And he wanted that vote so that he will ginger his own vote up.
Yes, but you see, the complexity about the entire scenario in Kano now is you have three, if you like, big political forces. The Shekaria, the Gandujia, and the Konkosia tendencies. Now, a lot of people said, look, Shekarau should have remained in the APC, considering the fact that the gubernatorial flag bearer in next year's election is actually more or less from his political camp. But by defecting to the NNPP, notwithstanding what you listed, is that perhaps he's unhappy with the emergence of who was a local government chairman under him, Nasir Yusuf Gamuna. They imagine that he should, after all, he's more or less his political. He came as a result on the time he gave local government the autonomy, complete financial autonomy. So how do you react to that charge?
Well, you see, politics is about carrying people along. If your followers are not carried along, then you may not be relevant. Shekarau's followers were not considered. In fact, all the promises by the governor that he will give us commissioners, advisors, and what have you. Well, of course, 2 or 3 people were appointed as commissioners from the side of Shekarau. So when this primary election was approaching, clear feelers are showing that none of Shekarau's people, none of them would be considered for any elective position. In fact, there was pronouncement by the wife of the governor to that effect. She made a pronouncement in one of the local governments. And when the sale of forms was open, we saw the writing. We saw it coming. And you have lots of people behind you who also wants to contest. Would you just abandon them? And you know, in this politics now, it is only when you have a position that you continue to remain relevant.
Yes, but you see,
without any elective
yes.
or appointed position, certainly you may lose relevance for some time. You understand?
I understand.
So that's why for him to get certain position for his people, he has to look elsewhere.
No, but you see, this is exactly the thing people say. Why not get his own political party, a political platform? Why he will be the Lord of the Manor, like Konkoso did, you understand? So that he will not have to negotiate for 35% or even 5%. Like one of the G7 members now, I think a member of the House of Reps representing one of the metropolitan local government now, went to a totally different party. And some people say, why didn't Shekarau? I'm sure you are part of the Shura Council.
Of course I am.
Why not get his own political platform so that his own people, those loyalists to him, would? Why didn't he do that?
You know, you see, as at every point in time when he felt cheated, you see forces coming with offers.
Yeah.
Different people coming. You know, at that time when we were having this problem with the APC, especially with the governor, Konkoso keeps coming.
Yeah.
You understand, with his offers.
Yeah.
PDP was coming as well, same time. So you tend, and typical of Malam Shekarau, you know him, he tends to think or to accept that, yes, these people may treat us well. Because he look at people from his own perspective, as if when they said one is one, and he don't know that
exactly.
Perhaps
it may not be
that one may not be one.
Yes.
You understand? So he easily accepts such proposals.
You mean
perhaps that is why he did not, or that idea of looking for a different platform was not explored. Because of, like I told you, so many requests coming from different angles and from the major parties.
Yes.
Like PDP has been coming, NNPP,
Labour Party.
Labour Party. So perhaps that may be the reason.
Now, but still, now, what is the deal now? What is the deal in PDP now? Now he's moved. Did he take the same attitude of not asking for anything? Because politics, like you said, is about my people getting the fair deal. He went there without any pledges. He went there on the conviction that perhaps he will be better treated.
Honestly, that is the situation. He has not asked for any position, but we have high hope that at the end of the day will be considered.
Well, thank you, Dr. Slay. We have to end it here because of time. You've been quite engaged and very revealing the interview. We've been talking to you in the last couple of minutes. Well, viewers, we come to the end of today's show. We'll see you another time. Goodbye.